Trying to get the live to go. Issues with it. There we go. Okay. All right, got it. Here we go. Task key turned up. All right, no, he was here. I guess he had to log in and out. All right. Good morning. I'm Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court this morning. I'm just waiting for people's audio to connect. Don't be surprised, you'll be muted at first. And I'm going to be a little repetitive as well because folks are having their audio connect. So again, I'm Judge Person. Welcome to the Temple Municipal Court. We have the convenience of meeting online, which is great, but it's not without its problems. So I'll be sorting those things out. In connection with that, I have a person with a medical apparel on, and I'm asking you to unmute. You're labeled iPhone. I'm trying to find out who you are.
Okay.
Yes. What's
Can
your name?
you hear? It's Mary Hernandez.
Okay. Thank you. I'm changing it, but it's brief. It'll just be for this meeting, and I'll be back with you soon. And let's see, I saw another person with an iPhone. Let me find it. I think they changed it for me. I'll figure it out as we go. Okay. And so I have a few people trying to get in that on when we started. Okay. So I am Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court. I do want to give a basic overview before we get started. I want to let you know that we have two dockets meeting. One is just a regular, what we call an open docket, and the other is a pretrial docket. The open docket, I'm working on people's sentences, I'm sentencing, I'm discussing. There are things I'm doing as the judge, and it's kind of different depending on where your case is in the stream of things. I'll talk about that in a moment. If you've contested your charge, then you're going into a pretrial docket. And for folks who can't hear, Alfredo Ortiz is telling me that he can't hear. I'm going to tell you I have a limited ability to deal with the chat feature, okay? I allow it for the simple fact that, you know, apparently sometimes, no, that's Tina, okay. So I do allow it to some extent, but I can't conduct court that way because it's not captured, it's not saved. Hold on a second. I'm going to keep people muted until it's your turn, because if we all talk at once in this setting, it will not work out well. I keep having people unmute, so I'll keep remuting you. It would just help to just not do that, because you will have a turn. So when it's your turn, my remarks right now are, Mr. Ortiz, please, you're unmuting yourself. I don't know if he can hear me. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm just going to move forward. I do want to let you know a few things. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to the accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. We are presumed not guilty. If we change that with our plea, or at trial, if we're found guilty, that's the way that it changes. We're presumed. Okay. So when you give a plea, you're giving your answer. And let me just talk about what those answers mean in terms of the direction that they take you. So if you plead guilty, you're saying, I did this. That case moves into sentencing. Normally you're found guilty and it goes on your record. There are some exceptions to that. I will review those in a moment. If you plead no contest, you're authorizing me to find you guilty without admitting or denying the offense. And again, normally you're found guilty, it goes on your record and it gets paid. I'll talk more about that in a moment because there are exceptions and options. If you plead not guilty, your case is scheduled for a pretrial and then trial. And we don't know if you're going to be found guilty. So it's a different pathway. If you've pleaded guilty or no contest, as I say, that general rule applies of being found guilty, having it go on your record. However, let me talk about that just a little bit. First, in terms of payment, if you are, I do look at the income information that you provided. I look at that for two purposes. In the sentencing, theater, so to speak, in the sentencing category, I'm looking at that in terms of a sentence and in terms of payment plans. Sometimes I need to make adjustments based on income, based on what's happening in your personal life. So I might be pushing and asking and getting into your personal stuff, and I might need to do that, okay, to be appropriate in terms of a sentence. If you've pleaded not guilty, I got the same information for a different purpose, which was to set up whether you pay or do a bond. And that may or may not be something we talk about today. It kind of depends on the direction the case is going. But I do get the same information from everybody because at some point I'm going to need it. And I'm not a fan of people filling out the same information repeatedly unless there's a really good reason, because it just makes my paperwork bigger and I'm not interested in doing that. That's not what I do. So sometimes that confuses people. So I do explain it. Okay. The next thing I want to tell you is, so I'll look at that in terms of sentencing when we're talking about guilty or no contest, and I may need to make adjustments. In terms of having the item go on your record, listen up, because there's 4 ways to get dismissals in Class C courts. This is a Class C court. What makes a Class C court different is generally they're hosted by cities. Every now and then a JP has Class Cs too, but they're generally hosted by cities. 2, you can get warrants for non-appearance or non-completion of a court order, but you're not sentenced to jail time in a Class C setting. That doesn't mean arrest is impossible, but it does mean the sentence isn't, I sentence you to jail. People can wind up with the capacity to go to jail, but it has to do with missing deadlines, missing court dates. Okay, so in connection with that, when we set, for example, a payment plan, those are deadlines. If a school is due, a document's due, a payment is due, those are all considered deadlines. And when you miss a deadline, you could be subject to a warrant. If you have warrants, I will do my best to resolve those with you because you are here today. So that's positive. Okay, so back to having things go on your record. If you have not yet been sentenced, there are 4 ways to gain a dismissal in a Class C court. They are, I'll tell you what they are, then I'll briefly hit on how they work, and then we're going to get started with everyone's case. Compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. The law needs to specify that that can happen in order for that to happen. Once a case is filed here, these are the options available for dismissal. So if you've got something like that, you're welcome to talk to me about that. Assume that I'm looking to see if there might be a dismissal option available for you. But definitely when it's your turn, if you want to ask about it, you can. I don't just see a whole lot of those. Normally things like, you've got a bald tire and you were cited for that tire, then you can come to court on time with it repaired and proof of that shown and pay a $10 dismissal fee. That would be a good example. So I'll be looking for those compliance dismissals. We have a few local ones too, and I'll be working on that with you if it looks like it could work. Okay, but ask me if you're curious. 2, it's just I'm not waiting for the question is what I'm saying. 2, driver safety course options are available if you have a moving violation and if the violation qualifies and you qualify and you want to complete it, then you pay the court cost, turn in a proper record and a proper course, and you get a dismissal. Let me back up for a quick moment and tell you that every ticket in any court has a court cost and a fine. The court cost is set by the Texas legislature. What I'm saying there is that I can't change those court costs because they actually get sent to the state of Texas. The fine stays local. Fines go to things like roads, fire department, stuff like that. Okay. They just go to the general fund, and your council and your mayor, they decide how that gets spent. We collect it at the court, but we don't use the money here at the court. I think it's helpful to know how government works. But the other thing is, in the driving safety course option, you pay the court cost and the fine will go on hold. And if you complete your course and record and they're the proper ones on time, turn them in, get your ticket dismissed, keep it off your record, and the fine gets waived. And even though you've paid for a course and a record and a court cost, it's less expensive than paying a whole citation. And the reason for that is we actually know from studies that people drive a little bit better after they go through that process than if they don't. And a person with a ticket is, we also know, more likely to have a future, they are at a higher risk for future harm, crash. Even if it's not your fault, they're more at risk just as a group. And so it's incentivized that people do that course. And I'll be looking to see if you're qualified. And if you're qualified, I'll be asking you if you want to do it. Okay. All right. So that's the second one. The third one is called a deferred disposition. Listen, on the driving safety course option, I'll be looking like I am with the first one. On the third one, the deferred disposition. Deferred means delay. Disposition means to make final. I delay making your case final. I find you guilty. I'm sorry, I don't find you guilty. I delay. I put an order in place instead. That order will list out the things that you do. It gives you a checklist. It'll be in written form, a checklist of things to do to gain a dismissal. And if at the end of the deferral, you've done the things listed, you gain a dismissal. But here's the difference between that one and the first two. I'm not looking, you're asking. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred is how you ask for that. Okay. Or just say the word deferred. In a Class C court, you can ask the judge directly for a deferred. In higher level courts, you must ask and get approval from a prosecutor. There are a handful of things that you must ask the prosecutor for. If you ask for a deferred and that the prosecutor needs to review it, I'll move you over to the prosecutor's to-do list, basically. If you're on the pretrial docket and you and the prosecutor agree to a deferred, then y'all can bring that to me. But I'm not going to tell you that the prosecutor necessarily must agree, because the prosecutor has an independent function and our prosecutor functions like a district attorney. So, make that request and we'll respond in kind. Now, if you ask for a deferred and a judge in a Class C court tells you no, then it's just no. Okay. So there's not a requirement that a judge say yes to that request. But what is required is that every time the request is made, the judge must consider it. Okay. So just make the request if that's what you're trying to do. But it really is it looks like probation, but it's not technically probation. And I don't like using that term because it's misleading, but it's a period of time where you do things. Mostly don't get more tickets and don't get warrants and don't miss court dates, but we sort out payment options there and whether there's a class or a record or something of that nature due. So just ask and then I'll respond. Okay, that's the trick on that one. And then the fourth one is if you qualify and you successfully complete teen court, you get a dismissal. Teen court looks a little bit like a deferred, except that I'm allowed to ask the young person. And if you're a young person in school, I'll be pushing teen court a little bit. One, because it's the most successful option that we have as far as not committing an offense again in the future or getting hurt in an accident. And two, it's pretty successful and it places the burden on the young person rather than a parent to learn from anything that got them to court to begin with. So teen court is really a very effective tool. It looks a little like a deferred, but it shifts the burden off of payment and onto behavior demonstration or change. So I'll be talking to you about teen court if it looks like you're qualified. If you're in school and I'm not talking to you about teen court, bring it up with me because I somehow don't know you're in school. Okay, so that's the 101. That's really it. I don't have hidden options I don't have a secret password or a secret handshake. And, it can be, I'm sort of making a light of it, but the fact is people can wind up, wondering what do I need to know to do this the right way? But most of us represent ourselves in a court like this one. I do want to say, if you are wanting to take a pause in your case, if your plea has not yet been accepted by the court and you want to meet with an attorney first, we can delay your case, give you a new court date, and let you meet with an attorney of your choice. But in Class C courts, there's not court-appointed counsel. There's a legal reason for that I'm not going to go into because it would take too long. But if you're trying to do that, you just say, hey, I need time, and I'll know what that means. Okay? Is everybody basically with me? If not, let me know when it's your turn. Okay. But I want to get moving. I know people's time is important. Mr. Matson, could you unmute and tell people who you are?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
So Mr. Matson, again, is not your attorney. He is the attorney for the party accusing you. But if you're in the pretrial setting, if you've pleaded not guilty, that pretrial is with that prosecutor, and the judge is not part of that conversation because sometimes people talk about the facts of the case. I need to stay fair and neutral, so I will not be listening in. Okay, but we will start with, and I believe he's still here. He's been having some connection trouble, but Eldon Fasky, can you unmute and tell us how you're doing so that we know that your audio is working?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Okay, great. Let's move you over to that meeting with the prosecutor, and y'all will come back at the end of that conversation to check in with the court before you leave today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and I too will move forward. And Melody Smith, if you could unmute, tell me how you're doing while I pull your file up, okay?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, good. Nobody woke up saying, yay, I have court today. Except
No,
me.
and I have class at 11.
Well, I'm doing my best, but
No, you're okay. No, you're okay. I'm not in a rush.
I know I'm okay, but it's court day, so
Yes, ma'am.
you just have to, take care of things.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I got a request for an extension to get proof of insurance and registration. We have some warrants. I just need to back you up and just kind of let's walk through this just a little bit because I didn't get all the paperwork that I needed from you to even proceed. So let me just walk through. June 4th of 2023, there is an accusation of no insurance. If you paid it at the window, it's $331. It's gone to warrant for non-appearance. On that one, I think, let me double check. I did get a plea of guilty and a request to give an extension to provide insurance and registration. So first of all, let's just start at the beginning. Is the plea guilty? Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So one thing to know about insurance cases is that if you had insurance at the time that you were stopped, then there is an option to get a dismissal that way. If you didn't, you can't then get insurance and get a dismissal. There may be other options, but a compliance dismissal, it's not eligible for that. Were you insured at the time of the stop?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let me move to the next one. That same stop, there was a registration charge, and now the fines and costs are $331. That's gone to warrant, and the warrant is from a missed court date. The court date was on the citation itself. And when you missed that date, we actually send a courtesy letter saying, hey, you missed court date, come on in. That's a courtesy. If you miss that date, though, that's where we start heading to warrant. It kind of buys a little time, but that came and went, and then a warrant got issued. How are you pleading to that charge?
To
The registration being out on June 4th.
that's guilty as well.
Okay, so that one is a compliance eligible offense if you are on time to court. We missed that court date. I'll talk to you about that in just a moment because I do have a follow-up, okay? Before we go all the way into that sentencing idea, okay? But before we do that, there's another stop June 16th for no insurance, and the fines and costs are $281. That one does not have a warrant. How are you pleading to that charge for June 16th?
Guilty. I'm not even gonna try to argue.
Okay, so a couple of questions. Just on June 16th, were you insured?
No, ma'am.
Okay, on the registration, that court date was way back in June. What happened that you missed the court date?
Well, so I never got, because I'm at a new address, so I don't know if they sent the thing to my old address, but that's still not an excuse that I knew that it was coming up. I was just trying to buy myself more time to get all that stuff together. And I just didn't, and I understand like excuses, but I work 6 days a week. I'm a single mom. I go to school 3 days a week on top of online classes. I don't get no help from nobody. So like my money situation is very hard. So whenever it comes down to like, cause I have $900 in rent and food to put on the table and clothes to buy for my daughter and all that stuff. So like, I was just like, well, all this stuff is kind of overwhelming, but I do get that it is a very big necessity to have that stuff on your car because you can't just be driving any legal car. But like, I was just honestly trying to buy myself more time to get the stuff done. But I know that's not the way to go about it. And I knew that the court date was coming up, but I really don't even have an excuse for you.
No, well, it's not necessarily an excuse. I do like to hear circumstances, okay? And you've given me what I need to understand there. So just a couple of things for you to know. First of all, I hear you, okay? The next thing I want to tell you about though is always just for your benefit, really. It's education as far as I'm concerned. It's not a scolding so
Yes,
much
ma'am.
as just like a way to kind of keep out of a problem. Okay,
Yes,
so first of all, court dates are on the original ticket that you were handed at the scene. Police officers are uniquely authorized to do that. So we know you have that court date. The letter that we send, I don't know if you got it or not. As I said earlier, it's a courtesy letter. And that's when you've missed the court date that was on so when people go, I didn't know I had a court date. The last thing they say to you is your signature is not an admission of guilt. It's an agreement to contact the court by this date. And they say that because you have to contact the court or you're subject to warrant, and it's on that ticket and it even says that. So just, you want to change the behavior of missing that court date. Sometimes people are, they're panicked and they don't hear it all, but that's why it's in writing. And then there's a phone number and there's just not another great way, but the next thing we do is send a letter saying, hey, you missed a court date. Again, we don't know if you got it or not, but we're supposed to send it by mail. That's the information that we're using that you provide at the stop. So if it's not getting through, you need to figure out why that's happening to you, because you may be missing other things. Okay. Because that's also where we send the warrant letter. We send it all to the same address.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't even know I had a warrant until, well, I kind of assumed I had a warrant, but I didn't even know until I got a phone call from, I guess, the municipal court or somebody and let me know that I had warrants.
Right. Yeah, we have a bailiff warrant officer. I'm just making a note of that because that's a program that I like.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, but here's what happens is when you miss your court date, that registration charge, state law says if you miss the court date, I can't dismiss it. So you're missing options when you miss court dates. The insurance cases can't be brought up to date and dismissed. They're not compliance eligible. So where we are is we're moving into sentencing, but you didn't provide your income information. So I don't have a way to know what your sentence ought to look like right now. And I'm hearing for sure that you have some real constraints in your situation, which I need to take into account, or I would like to take into account, because without that, the only thing I get to do is give you 30 days. And I don't even know if that, it doesn't sound like that's a very good idea. It doesn't sound like that would work. So, and you have warrants, which I'm attempting to get out of play. You know, I'd like to get those not a concern. So I think that the answer is, are you in a position where if we email something to you right now, you could print it out, fill it out, and email it back within the next, say, 15 minutes or 20 minutes?
No, ma'am, I
Okay.
can't, I don't have a way to print stuff. I have a
Okay.
laptop, but I don't have a printer.
I'm going to have to reset you to get the income information.
Okay,
Because I don't, and I mean, otherwise I can just give you, I could give you 30 days to pay and then have reset you to see me. But
but that's like $900 altogether, isn't it? Like
no,
nine
it's
something.
$943. And I, you
Hon-
know, in order to do reductions, in order to order community service, in order to make adjustments, I have to have something in my file that documents what I did. And that's that payment application, and we don't have it. So,
Okay.
what I can do,
Because
what I
my
can,
thing is,
what I can do,
sorry,
what I can do is reschedule you for September 14th here in the court. That's in the courtroom. Is that right? Hold on just a moment.
okay,
Okay. Okay. Right.
oh,
Okay.
I have maintenance knocking on my door.
I can give you a 2-week extension to be back on Zoom.
Okay,
I need a signature on that in order to recall your warrants.
okay.
So when can you come by the court to make signature?
May I come by in the morning?
Can you do it today sometime before 5?
Yes, ma'am, I can go after class. I get out of class at 1.
Great, come by then, because no, I don't want to do tomorrow because I want to get your warrants
Okay,
recalled.
yes, ma'am, me too.
And then when you show up, you can fill your financial affidavit out when you get here. And they can, that way you don't have to come back again, okay? The paperwork that we need, we're gonna have you do it when you come by to sign up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, we'll see you this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
All right.
Extend but make notes of the guilty pleas so that we don't have to redo that over again. Mr. Mattson, I'm moving Mr. Fask back over. I'm trying to anyway. Okay, are they listed here? Okay. Still trying to get that move to happen.
There we go.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, Mr. Mattson, there's a number of things. So let's talk about where we are with reference to Mr. Faskey. Mr. Faskey, am I saying your name correctly? Looks like a yes. Could you unmute?
It's Vosky.
Foskey, Mr. Foskey,
Yeah.
thank you. Where are we with the cases? Let's start with Mr. Mattson.
Your Honor, we have a bit of a tentative agreement in place, but I did see that the final pretrial setting is next week, and I was hoping we could push that out a bit further to give Mr. Foskey time to
Sure.
take care of what we talked about.
We also have new cases that have been filed, so let's roll all those into a final date and assume a not guilty on those and assume that those are part of what y'all will address. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor, it does.
Okay, When is my next live pretrial available? Because this says that there isn't one. Just help me. We shouldn't be eliminating Wednesday until we are going live, so I don't know if that helps. I might have confused people. Bear with me, folks. I'm working on a calendar issue for just a quick second. It looks like it would be the 20th of September.
Is there any chance we could get, I
Out,
think October 5th might have been one?
I think that'll be live in the
Is that gonna be Thursdays at that point?
October 5th works fine. That's at 9 in the morning here in the courtroom.
Okay.
And we'll just put those cases there, plus any new ones that come in. Okay. I'm just putting a not guilty plea on all cases. And I'm setting the final pretrial for October 5th at 9 o'clock. Mr. Fosk, can we email those to you using the email that we used for today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Because the court sets it, I don't think I need your signature right now, but we will just get that over to you. And that should come to your email, but orally, I'm letting you know that's when we're going to do all of them. And that way, between you and Mr. Mattson, whatever y'all have got going on, it can all bunch together. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, moving you forward, Alfredo Ortiz would be next. He was having some audio trouble, but I think it looked like it may have gotten resolved. And then I think maybe he went away, but let me double check. Mr. Ortiz, are you here? If he comes back on, I will definitely let you know, but let's move forward. Paige Moody, can you unmute?
Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm going to move you over to a meeting with the prosecutor, and afterwards you'll move this direction back over, okay? And I too am moving forward with Eric Scoggins. Mr. Scoggins, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing today while I pull up your file?
Morning.
Morning, you went off video. There you go. How are you,
Yeah,
sir?
I've been better, to be honest.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're here so we can
just-
work on things that we need to work on.
I'm just going through a lot right now.
Sorry.
I'm just going through a lot right now. So, and I
Okay.
have been. So I've been struggling, and that's part of the reason that I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So that's no excuse. I know that. I'm
I
old enough to know that.
Well, I understand. I see the hardships that you have going on still. I think that's still true.
Yes,
And,
it is. Yeah.
let's see. Okay. Are you getting help for the stress that you're undergoing? Are you able to access help?
I go to the VA, and I haven't. I went there trying to find help, for my rent situation, and because everywhere I go, just deny. No one has any money. There's no help to be found, and that's part of the reason I've been struggling, because I'm about to get evicted. I'm just waiting for the sheriff to give me the court date for that, and so that's huge on my mind at my age. I mean, I've never been homeless, never been evicted, so that's huge on my mind, and not being able to find work. I put in applications and I never hear back, and then my health is not as good as it should be, and so much is happening right now. I'm just extremely depressed. I have no family around here, no support, so it's just really, really hard right now for me, and I
Forgive-
apologize to the court.
Thank you. Accepted. Let's move forward. Question. This, maybe you don't have to answer this, but I'm gonna ask, where, do you have family? You said you didn't have family in the area. Do you have family you can go to?
No, my closest, my only sibling left is my oldest sister, and she lives in Iowa. And I don't have anybody down here. I moved to Central Texas when I was married, and my wife was stationed at what was Fort Hood. And so we came here, and things just weren't. So we got divorced, and you know, I made this my home.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna ask you to do something for me. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you've provided today and also that you've written to me in your file is true, correct, and accurate, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Mr. Scoggins, taking everything into consideration, at this time, the court is going to waive the fines and costs. And therefore you would not pay it. In the future, if you get a ticket, come to court and do the things that you do, and it may be a different
ma'am.
decision. But right now, I don't think that it's appropriate for me to add this to the mix of things that you have going on. And therefore, even though the conviction's been entered, and we did that a long time ago, I'll recall your warrant today. I'll zero out your balance, and you'll be done with this case.
Thank you, ma'am. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think you need somebody to hear you and give you a break today.
I appreciate it. I do.
And
I'm actually a really good driver. It's been a long time before since I'd gotten a ticket. I was like, and it just, everything bad happens, you know. My old car had died, and I had to get a new car. I didn't think I could, but a buddy got me into getting it. And so when you get a brand new car, you know, you end up going faster than you plan on going. And that's the officer. She stopped me that morning. She was like, "You didn't see me?" I'm like, "Ma'am, I just got off work. I'm tired. I'm just heading home." And I just didn't realize how fast I was going. And I did not see you. No.
where were you working? What was the work that you were doing at that
I
time?
was working at East Penn Manufacturing over in the industrial park.
Yeah,
And I worked, you know, third shift. And so you get off in the morning, you know, you're tired, you're just wanting to get home, and that new car will get away from you if you're not careful. And that's exactly what happened, you know, down there. And I did not see the officer, and I was like, I was in the wrong. I know I was, you know, but I'm usually really, really good. I hadn't had a speeding ticket in years
okay.
because I tried to be careful and safe. So
Well, I'm recalling your warrants today. I'm waiving your fines and costs, and your case is completed. So you have no further business with the court at this time. And you're good to go, okay?
thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Mr. Mattson, I'm just trying to move forward with Paige Moody. And for reasons unknown, this system is slow today, so we'll just all be patient. There we go. I do have Miss Moody's file already pulled up, and this is just a single charge of failing to yield the right of way at an emergency vehicle. And Ms. Moody is back in the room and unmuted. Mr. Mattson, where are we at this time?
Your Honor, I have reviewed this case and I'm going to be dismissing it.
Okay. Can we do that here in the courtroom for you?
That would be fantastic.
Okay. All right, ma'am, I will send a copy of that dismissal to your email.
Okay.
Okay. And then once you receive it, your case is completed.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. You're
Have a
good to
good
go.
day.
Yes,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye-bye. Mr. Mattson, Samuel Fleming is here or was here. Oh, let me see. Let me call out for that one. Samuel Fleming, are you here? Marcus Jones, are you here? Ravion Kindred, are you here? And Alfredo Ortiz, are you here? So Alfredo Ortiz was definitely having trouble with connection. That'll just move to the, I'm gonna put a final pretrial. I don't see one, but if it's not, do we know when that's gonna have a final pretrial?
That would be October.
October 5th?
Yes. On that.
That's moving to October 5th. Well, we may want to send a summons on that of some kind. Let's see, on Samuel Fleming, again, I have him as logged in. I didn't notice any in and out with that.
I did see a person that was identified as Samuel pop in and out really, really fast for a minute or two.
I assumed it was him, and but I didn't see him log back in after this, he disconnected for whatever reason. If we hear from him, I'll let you know. Last time we had trouble with that as well, and he emailed in later. Last time he was there, but he wouldn't unmute, and he kept saying, I can't hear you, in response to, can you, I mean, it was, he could hear me, so I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, so we had issues. So I'm just gonna set this for live. I don't think it's working to be online. I had made that determination last time, but then he called and said, no, he really wanted to use Zoom. So I'm just gonna say that it has to be live at this point. Because it's not working. If it's not working, then we're not getting anywhere. So that one's gonna go to October 5th. And then Marcus Jones is a no-show scheduled for September 6th. And I'm gonna leave that one there. And Ravion Kindred is needs to be set for, can we move this to September? Or does it need to all go on October? Because that October date's gonna get really full. And I don't see a setting for him. I'm assuming we don't have one.
No, the only date that we have. The one date that I have really be live is the 20th. Don't. The 20th date is a
September 20th, you mean?
September 20th.
But is Mr. Mattson gone on the 20th?
No,
Mr.
Your
Mattson?
Honor, I'll be here for the 20th.
And we're here for the 6th of September, right? It's the 6th.
Yes.
Okay, let's add him to the 6th of September. Okay, so that's really your docket, Mr. Mattson. And at this point, I think the court will just let you go. If anyone reaches out, we may call you back, but we're going to wrap court up pretty soon. So I don't know, but right now I'm just going to tell you I don't see anything else for you to do.
Thank you, Judge. If anyone does come back in, just let me know and I'll hop back on.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you. You have a good morning.
And you too. If I could get Casey Crawford to unmute.
I'm here.
I'm just pulling up your file. Okay, so we have a case of speeding and we've already, done the plea part. It has a balance of 364.70. I had offered or actually pushed to do community service. That option was refused. And we now don't have we don't have a payment plan in place. We have a warrant now.
Mhm.
And I'm showing that you have an inability to pay. So I felt like we needed to talk.
Okay, so I had a payment plan established, and I was going to see if I can reinstate the payment plan. I'm a primary caregiver of my parents right now, so that's why community service was turned down at the time. Whenever I had the payment plan established, my parents' house went up on the market, and I took every available fund that I had left to get a lawyer to stop the foreclosure of our house. So I got her on the homestead program, so I got that taken care of. So I was just trying to see if I can reinstate my payment program.
Okay, the problem is that I only do that twice and you're at the second time. So I don't, I mean, I know, I hear what you're saying about the foreclosure issue, but on a good day, I don't see a way to make payment. Did things change? Are you working?
Every now and then my sister gets me to go clean houses with her, and I was trying to get a pass to get on post, and it's having a warrant. I can't get on post to go and clean houses with her. That's where the job's at. So that's what I was doing.
Okay, I'm sorry, hang on. Keeps going off and in. So, okay, what is your request at this time?
To reinstate my payment program.
At what amount?
I asked for a minimum of $20. I'll try to put as much down as I can. I submitted $50 whenever I came in and requested a court date on, I believe it was Monday morning. So I went in, I put a payment towards the whatever. They said that they can't issue. I needed to go before the judge and speak with you. So that's what I'm doing.
The reason they're saying that is that if I set a payment plan now and you default, the answer is we really start talking seriously about jail.
I understand.
So I do 25 a month. I don't do 20.
That's fine.
Okay. When are we starting this payment?
I can come down this evening and put $25 down.
What do you mean by
Oh.
evening? We actually,
Oh, okay, wait, I can do it online. I think I got the card. I could do it online today.
no, I need a signature on a payment plan.
Oh, okay. I could be on my way right now.
Okay. Come on by and we'll go ahead and get you reinstated. But if
Okay.
listen,
Yes, ma'am.
if you find that you can't do a payment, you don't just blow it off and go to warrant. First of all, it's $50 for that to get issued again.
Right.
And second of all, if you get another warrant, I'm not going to give you another payment plan.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, I'm making a note that you're coming by today
Okay.
and that you're making a $25 payment today.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
it will be every month on the 31st or the last day of the month, I guess.
Can we do it on the 3rd of every month?
Okay, hold on. Yes, she's making a payment today early. And then every third.
Please.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll have that at the front desk for you when you get here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, moving forward, if I could get Tiana Venable to unmute. I'm sorry, wait a second. I had Mary Hernandez ahead of you. I apologize, Ms. Venable.
Oh my God. Jesus.
I think you'll be okay. Ms. Hernandez, we had community service 65 hours due August 29th. I have that you want to switch to a payment plan. I can do that. I'm showing that you could do it. It's just this, we don't want to set it too high. And then you can always pay more if you want to get it done fast. Can you do $50 a month?
Yes.
Okay. When do you get off shift? Can you come by today to sign it and make a payment and get started?
Is there a way I could go ahead and sign it online? I stay in Tarrant County. I don't stay down there. I stay in Fort Worth, Texas.
I see that. I can email it to you if you can print it and sign it and email it back.
Okay, I could do that today.
Okay,
That'll work.
can you make a payment today?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and then it's just every month like that.
Is it gonna be on a day, or it has to be by the end of the month?
What would work best for you?
All I need is a date, and I'll make sure it's paid on that date.
Okay, and so after today, let's begin with the next payment being October 1st, and we'll just always have it on the 1st.
On the 1st, okay, that's fine. And is there gonna be a link that's attached to where I pay it on the paper?
No, you'll have to go to the City of Temple website to the Municipal Courts tab. And then there is a link there.
Okay.
And if you have trouble with that,
Okay,
you can call a clerk.
okay,
Okay. We'll
All right.
email that to you shortly.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh.
Ms. Venable, can you unmute so that we can talk?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I can't see you.
Oh, okay. Let me turn the camera. Hold on. How do I? It was literally just. Oh, there it go.
We
Oh, why
have-
is it?
We have community service that was due in April. The case has gone back to warrant. I have a request for a payment plan. I'm showing that you could do that. What can you pay today towards your outstanding balance of $296?
I could do $80.
Okay. And then, are you paid every 2 weeks or are you paid once a month?
2 weeks.
Okay. When is your next pay date?
Let me go check real quick. This is bad. Oh my god. Today's the 31st. I'm thinking the 20th.
Are you paid like 1st and 15th or are you paid every other Friday? What's
No,
your,
I'm paid every other oh yeah, it's every other Wednesday. So
okay. Were you paid yesterday or last week?
I get paid Friday.
So it's every other Friday?
Oh yes, or something like that. No, I don't get paid I get paid every other Friday. Like
Okay.
every 2 weeks. Isn't that every 2 weeks? Like it skips a week. I get paid, skip a week, get paid. Like something like that.
I don't know when you get paid. That's why I was asking.
Okay, well it's every 2 weeks.
How about this? 2 weeks from tomorrow, can we do $30 on the 15th of September?
Hold on, let me put that down. Yes, so you said wait, $30 when? When I
On
get
September 15th.
September 15th. Okay.
And then it would just be every 2 weeks, you're paying $30.
Uh-huh.
And what's going to work is today, I want you to come by the clerk's desk to sign for that. And we'll print out your dates.
I'm not in town right now.
Then I can email it to you if you can print it and sign it and email it back. But I need something to in written so that let me finish my sentence. I need something written. I need your signature on a payment plan so that I can recall your warrants.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I can email it to you. Can you print it and sign it and email it back?
Yes, ma'am. I'm pretty sure.
If I use the email that we used today, can you access that email?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you can go online and make the $80 payment, or you can call a clerk and they can do it over the phone.
Okay. What's the online?
Go to the City of Temple, Texas, go to the Municipal Courts tab, and there will be a link there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have a good day.
You too. Ms. Matsukas, can you unmute and get on screen?
Yes, I can.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see. I have let me kind of review where we are. Okay. I have a number of things. I have a speeding charge from December 5th of 2022. We've already done a finding of guilt. The fines and costs are $269. There is a no driver's license charge from that same stop. The fines and costs are $196, and there's already been a finding of guilt. And then there is an April 25th charge, no insurance, fines and costs are $296, and we've already adjudicated. In other words, you've already been found guilty. There's a defective headlamps or defective stop lamps charge. And again, that's already been a guilty finding from April 25th of 2023. The fines and costs are $249. And so then let's move to April 5th. Sorry, it's still April 25th. Expired registration. The fines and costs are $166, and that's already been found guilty. Then we have April 25th, a no license. Fines and costs are $196. We've already done a finding there. And now moving into the current things, June 25th, a no insurance charge. The fines and costs are $281. And I did receive a plea of guilty on that charge. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes.
And then I have an expired motor vehicle charge registration. The fines and costs are $151. And I did receive a plea of guilty. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes.
And then a no driver's license charge, and I received a plea of guilty. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes.
Okay. And then we had community service, and it was 68 hours at that time, due July 27th. And we are in a pre-warrant state. I show no income, just child support. I show expenses and car payment. Is that the situation at this time?
I just finally got a job, and so I was gonna see if I could change it to a payment plan, because with community service, the only one that I can do is like the animal shelter in Belton, but I can't drive there. The reason why I got another ticket is because I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna end up getting in trouble for not going to do it. I'm just driving myself, and the same day got pulled over because of my expired tags. So because only people in Temple that I have that has a car and has a valid license is my mom, but she works mornings and then she's with my brother. And by the time he gets out of school and they come over here, the animal shelter's closed. So I don't have a way to get there. And the other ones that are in Temple, you need either a COVID vaccination. I don't have that, and I don't have insurance and Medicaid to go get one. And two, I'm one of the people that don't want it. And then the other ones, like you need like steel toe boots. I don't have steel toe boots. I don't have money to buy them. And if I did, I could put to the ticket. So I just recently got a job at a gas station. So I was going to see, I just started on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was. And so I was seeing if I could just do it like a financial plan, if that was possible. Cause I did community service when I was a teenager, but it was easier because, I lived with my mom, so she was easier to take me. But I live on the other side of town. I live on 31st Street, and she lives over there by Dynasty, so it's harder. And the whole car already has problems, so it's like it's hard to find people to take me, and I don't have the money to like Uber there.
Okay, so really, okay, hold on. You've said many things, and I need to respond. The job you're getting, where will it be?
The Murphy's is called Murphy's gas station, Murphy USA, the gas station in front of Belton Walmart.
And how are you going to get to that job?
The boss there, he's friends with my mom, and he lives like down the street from me. So when he basically, I'm gonna be working his schedule. So I'd be driving with him and back until I can finally afford to fix my car situation.
Okay, and your license too.
That's the thing. I didn't know it. I know there's a place in town that I can go take the driving test, but I didn't know if I needed to take care of my tickets for. I was on the impression that I needed to take care of all that and have that paid off and done before I could do it. But then I've had people tell me others, so I was going to ask you if that was possible.
So normally, unless I have a hold on your license, then you can do what you do. I don't know if you're eligible to get a license. You can go online and look and see.
Okay.
I don't know how you would look it up unless you have a Texas ID. There might be a way to look it up.
I have one of
You'll
those.
need to look on the internet for how to get a license. I can't really give you legal advice,
Mhm.
but those are places you can look. But really, ultimately, Texas Department of Public Safety is how you find out if you can get a license. But
Okay.
I don't see any. Now, if you have a warrant, then you can't go get a license. But unless you have an active warrant or a hold on your license, I don't have a hold on your license.
All right.
You'll need to check with DPS about what they want from you. The fact that you're getting tickets might count against you. I don't know.
Okay.
It's really not the function that I have that I know.
Okay.
So I can do a payment plan. Have you thought about an amount that you could do?
Probably like 50. I've done it before with that amount. So
Let's make it 30.
okay. That's
And then
fine.
if
That's
you want
perfect.
to pay more, you can, because you'll get done faster. Okay. So with payment, do you know when you're going to be getting paid where you work?
I get paid it's every other week, but I don't know when. I haven't asked or been told what that is yet. I don't know if I don't know if they
I'm
start
just
they
going
get
to
paid this
stop
week.
you. I'm going to stop you there. I heard what I need to know. Let's give you 30 days to get started. So you'll begin October 3rd. And it's $30 a month as a minimum. You can always pay more and not be penalized. You just can, but you don't want to go miss payments and go to warrant. That's the main thing.
Okay.
Now, I need a signature on this. And if we email this to you to the email that we used to set up the meeting today, can you print it, sign it, and email it back?
I can get a ride there. My
Okay.
mom knows that she's scheduled off today, so she could take me. 'Cause I know after the phone call I have to go there.
Okay. What time should we look for you?
Probably like around 4, because my brother gets out of school at that time.
Okay. I'll put you down for 4:00. Okay.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you then. Thank you. You're good to go.